The next type of prompting is called generated knowledge. This is basically where you feed in additional knowledge or context to improve the performance of complex tasks like reasoning. We can first ask a question to establish the model's baseline understanding or response and see what kind of answer we get. For example, what would happen if the moon disappeared? Assuming the answer is less than perfect, we can then feed in additional knowledge. So we've got 3 different points here about the Earth and the tides and the moon. And then we can ask the question again. This time, hopefully, we'll get an answer that we're looking for. And you can iterate and continue to give it new knowledge until it's been properly trained and is giving appropriate responses. Here's another example that's super helpful for developers out there, the ability to give it knowledge from API documentation. So APIs are changing all the time, there's new ones out there as well, so chances are the model's training data is a little bit out of date. But not to worry, you can just feed in the documentation from the API. In this example, we would pass in documentation from an endpoint that converts between currencies, and then we're asking for a Java method to call that code. Let's see this one in the playground. So here's the documentation, and then I just went out and found an API that does currency conversion, and specifically the endpoint we want is convert endpoint. So we can just copy and paste this. Let me select everything here, including an example of the response, the different objects. I'll copy and paste this into the playground here after the delimiter. Looking good. And then we'll hit submit and see what we get. All right, here's our Java method. It's writing a function to convert currency. It knows we need an API key. It knows the different things that we're going to send in, the things that we're going to get back, and so on. So the model didn't know anything about this API endpoint until we gave it that knowledge. So we're basically helping it generate new knowledge to get the response that we want.